Let's see. Yep. Hi. So, it's nice to be back, having another convo. What has been up? Oh, with me? Well, I'm tripping. Man, I don't know. Like, I guess just jumping like straight cannonball style, like totally into the deep end. Like, I guess, I mean, maybe it's because of like this astrological shift that's been going on. Like, I heard it's supposed to do some things, but recently, just like in, I guess you can just call it the spirit, just had some kind of like awakenings, and some of them deal with the games that people play, and some of it is, well, some of it had to deal with like just realizing more about reality. I think that gosh, have I been naive? Have I been like living in a, like rose-colored glasses type of situation? It feels like part of me, I thought I was pretty hardcore, and I thought I was pretty aware. But I think when reality, like heavy reality, comes close to home, it kind of puts things into like a new perspective. And but the good side of that, that's not like, for me it wasn't like a bad thing. It was more of like a growth thing. But when you go through like spiritual growth, like for me, I went through spiritual growth, but then to like understand some things, just like I'm slowing down, like how I speak, I had to like slow down like how I think, and I had to slow down like my energy from being what it was to how I want it to be. Before, it was like frazzled and kind of quick to go frantic for almost no reason. It was like a learned behavior, and that would like affect my thoughts, like my thoughts would be like, I have to react, I have to think of something quickly, I have to, it's got to be done fast. And then it was like, it came time that certain things weren't being communicated accurately. And when I communicated these things accurately, it felt so good to be able to communicate them like more similarly to how they really are, or were, versus me thinking really quickly, this is what I'm thinking and feeling and this is how it is. But when I really thought about things, like what I was saying was more like what I was feeling. And it gave like a new perspective to like the spirit or the feeling or like the truth, that compared to what is like seen or heard. And it gave like a different meaning to, like, it gave a different definition as to what words really mean, how powerful words can be but also how words can be used to intentionally like screw things up, and they could be used to like describe love and like beautiful things. But sometimes if you have like any kind of apprehension or like insecurity or shyness, like I can get shy, and you know, or when I'm like being kind of like vulnerable or exposed, sometimes my thoughts can like go into that not protective mode, but like that hiding mode, like I'm hiding what I'm really feeling, because it's like gonna make me really exposed, like not in a bad way, but it's like, you know, especially if it's a brand new way, it can kind of like take the person like off guard. And so sometimes like your like inherent instinct is to kind of like shield your true feelings. And so sometimes when you describe what's being shielded, the words can come out like wrong. The words can like describe something that's like not going on. And when I like allow myself to just really be like honest, and then I like articulate things like how I'm really thinking them, I found that it was like a completely different experience, you know. And that was like good for progress, good for like the entire situation. But like usually from there you can learn more about yourself and the situation that you're in, and you know, it's not so bad. So it's not bad at all. It's just sometimes it's kind of like intimidating. It's like, you know, like diving off a diving board for the first time. I remember when I was younger, like using a diving board, it was like scary, you know, especially because it's like you're just out there, you're on this like plank, you know, on top of some like deep water. And then it's like a weird feeling because like the plank thing seems sharp on the edges, so if you slip, it's like you're gonna get fucked up, you know. And then it's like inevitable that you're jumping into some deep water. And to me that was always scary, like this thing just goes down. But then I, you know, was a cool swimmer, so I would like to touch the bottom, but there was always this like idea of like not making it or, you know, I don't want to get morbid, but you know, those were things I had to like overcome when I was like younger. But the diving board thing, like it's the same as like being like out there with like your feelings and stuff. Like it's just to me it's a vulnerable position until you get to being like a professional diver. It can just be like, I don't know, something that you have to like man up for. Like I had to man up and go onto this plank. I had to man up with myself. Like I have to like check myself, because sometimes I'll notice that I'm being a little like bitchy or finicky or something, and I have to like man up and like, you know, like be cool, because you can't just like carry around like the uncool. Like if you have something that you need to articulate, or like if somebody, like if a position, a situation, or a person is really worth it, then like I feel like I owe it to that person to try my best to give them the truth, especially like when it's like good truth, that like they deserve. Like, and then like I really wouldn't want to fuck that up, you know, like, so it can be like not weird, but it can take some time to get right. So, but on another note, another way that I've been expressing myself, and this is like going back to that art world, but the iPad Pro is like a work of art. It's like one of my favorite artistic tools, period. Like I have like a graphics tablet, and that's awesome too, you know, but I haven't really gotten to like know it. Part of it is that it requires like you know, I have to wait until I have like the opportunity to like leave it set up. I tend to want to leave things out versus like setting them up and putting them away. And I don't have like a nest for my graphics tablet. But the thing is about the iPad Pro, and I say iPad Pro not to, you know, just because it seems like it's earned that kind of like title. Like I would just say iPad, but there seems to be like a distinct difference between the iPad and iPad Pro. I don't know what it is, because this is my first iPad anything. But I do know that the Pro is compatible with the Apple Pencil. So that is something different. And I know there's differences with like the processors and stuff like that. So, but the iPad Pro is so convenient and so like easy. I'm using Procreate, and it's just such nice software. It's really deep, but the software seems so simple, and that's part of like me getting used to software that's designed for Apple. You know, I'm getting used to like Safari has been easy. I've only used it on my phone, but that hasn't had like a learning curve. I think if I had it on a computer, then I would see like more of what that's about, because it would be like a full operating system. It's kind of like an Android operating system for a PC, and it's just like it's not the business, you know. I don't know where that's happening. I guess like maybe like a Google Chrome, I even know, Chromebook, I don't know. But what do you put an Android operating system on besides like a phone or a pad or a tablet? I don't know. But I'm running Windows. I've always run Windows. Like when I was in college, like undergrad, like, you know, like university, like I used Apple computers, like Macs, just for school. But at home I'd use a PC. But like this Apple like wonderland that I'm in, it's like you see how Apple software is designed, like iOS, yeah, iMac, I don't know what the I for the computers are, but I think iOS is iOS is for the computer. What is it for the phone? iPhone operating system stuff. 10.312468-B. Like it'll be, I'm sorry, I know it's totally an exaggeration. It's such a bad joke, but like where was I going? Yeah, like the interface is so different. Like with Procreate, you could tell like it's like Apple software. And when you go through the menus, it's very like Apple. It's very like, here's what it is, here's your tool, and when you press this is here. It's like the reverse of what Windows software is. And I was always told that, like, you know, like they're basically like reverse of each other. And like I didn't really fully understand that. Like I understood it when I was working in college on computers, and I'd be like, it's so weird, these windows. I remember this was like in the this is like right at like 2000. And I remember, so that's like 20 years ago, right? 20 years ago. It was like a big deal. But I remember seeing the windows, like the windows within the software for the first time, and it was just like, this is crazy, you know, like, and I'm kind of having that with Procreate, because like I'm seeing like the layout is similar, but I'm having that experience of needing to learn the software. Like I haven't had to learn any Apple software for like ever. Like, let me see, what is this? Like even just going into like the settings menu and everything is like there. It's I get lost within my phone. I'm not even joking. Like, okay, so it's like looking for a software update, and it's like really looking for one. So maybe I have one. I don't know. Even that's weird. Like just how the software updates come so regularly. It's just bizarre. Like I'm still not even used to it. It's still like brand, and it's so simple, but it's like it's like really efficient. It's like bare bones. Because I remember when I first had like an update for this phone, and this is it's like a 6 Plus. Can you see? Yeah. So it's awesome, by the way. I know there's like an 11, like I know, and I know I'm not like on Vogue right now. It's so weird because, like, side note, like, okay, I'll get to that later. With the system update, I thought that it was gonna change the way that the software looked. You know, like stuff like would be visibly different, and there's like nothing visibly different. Like I had emojis that changed, and it's just so like cut and dry, and I really like it. Like, you know, because I don't know, like, but like with how the phones change and everything, it's like you can tell like it's becoming like a status symbol. Like if you don't have the cameras, you're looking like it's almost like a punk, you know, like it's almost like a status symbol. Oh, you don't have the cameras, do you? Doesn't even matter if you have an 11. If you don't have a stack of cameras here, it's like you're on the outside looking in. And it's very sophisticated, you know, like, because like Apple intentionally has done these things to differentiate the like different models. I don't think that these differences really have anything to do with the hardware or like the performance too much, you know. Like even with my watch, I love my watch, and I'm not like bragging. Like this is an Apple Watch 2, and there's what, a 4 or a 5, like, and I'm cool with my 2 because it's my first Apple Watch, and it's my first smartwatch, period. And I bought it used, and I needed another watch, and this is like perfect. You know, I bought my phone used, like I bought my tablet used, and the tablet was one of the best investments in my life, one of the best gifts in my life. I would say that it's an investment, but it started as a present, but I guess you can say it's an investment artistically. I mean, I see it as a gift, but like artistically, I'm telling you, it's so moving. It's so easy to practice. Like, I tried doing that kind of thing on a phone like this. I couldn't get like the stylus right. Like, I have an old tablet, and like it had the kind of stylus that is like a pen, but on the end is like a round ball, and there's nothing else that's like made for it. And then I had like a graphics tablet that was like just like black, you know, like the screen didn't illuminate, right? And but you look on your like screen while you're like drawing here, and it wasn't bad, but there was like a lapse in communication, you know. And there's like a lapse in the mind to hand, you know, because there's a middleman, and so part of your consciousness is like thinking about what's going on here. But with this tablet that I have, it's like you can just look, and it's really nice, but it's bigger and it requires more of a setup. So in the future, that's going to be its own thing. But with the iPad Pro, I'm able to just practice, you know, and I'm able to just express whatever, you know. And I think that's like the gift part of it. And like the investment part is like how I'm seeing, like, if this wasn't a gift, then I may have never purchased it. One, because I can be kind of cheap sometimes, and I'm kind of like, well, I have a tablet, it's like a few years old, you know, I have this other graphics tablet, I can use like the pen to the screen, because that's what I thought I was missing, you know. And you know, what's different about like this iPad, but like I researched like the size and the model that was like most popular and most like cost effective, and I went with like a 9.7, and it's really nice because it's like way bigger than this, and like, but it has like super performance like value, but it's small enough where it's not like cumbersome or heavy. And that may not like seem like it's a thing, but it really is. Like, because if I had like a 12-inch, there's a certain like cumbersomeness and heaviness. And I don't know if my hands and my arms are weak or what, I don't know. But it just it fits. That's another reason I bought this size watch. I was thinking, oh, you know, I need to get the biggest one, that's the way it has to be. But then it was like, no, because your wrists are kind of small and the other one might look goofy. And it's true, like this one is the 38 millimeter, I think there's like a 38 and a 42, and I got the smaller one. And it's just so cool. Like, I was never into watches before, and now I like am. Like, I liked watches, but like I thought it was like a man's thing, really. And when I would look at women's watches, like, generally speaking,